Hello, everybody, my friends, family, and my YouTube subscribers. This video is going to be, well, live stream is going to be just a really quick explainer for those of you who have asked why I have left Queentown, and then for my subscribers, it's also somewhat relevant because this will be the first video live stream that I'll be doing, chronicling my adventures moving forward. I do understand for my subscribers that the channel is pivoting slightly, so if it's not the kind of content that you're after, then that is quite all right. I am happy for you to stick along for the ride or unsubscribe if it's not the kind of information you are interested in. So yeah, anyway, let me go ahead and start. So yeah, about in I don't know, earlier on this year, I came across information around like UFOs and whatnot. Probably the biggest thing that really made me go, huh, I wonder if this is actually true, was when it was announced that David Grush would be appearing before Congress. And so as a result of that, I thought I'll just have a little bit more of a look into this. Hello, cat. Got a cat here. Sorry. You can come up here. Say hello. Here we go. So yeah, I decided to do a little bit of digging into it and then just continued exploring the topic, seeing what was out there. Then in August or September, I came across a fella called Chris Bledsoe, who has had his own kind of sightings and experiences over the years since 2007. And after listening to his interviews and then listening to a podcast that his son does, I suddenly had a thought one day, which is that if these things show up for some people at certain times, then it should be possible for any person to mimic the environment, mimic the intention, the mindset, the whatever the state is that they're in when these things happen. So I thought I will give that a go and see what I can have happen. And so after doing that for a couple of weeks, mainly just at work, I'd like pull over to the side of the road for like 10 minutes. Nothing happened initially, but then on October 26th, I was with my family at a holiday out in the middle of nowhere. I thought, I'm going to see if I can get something to show up again. I was expecting kind of like the orbs like Chris Bledsoe has appear. But yeah, as I was sitting there staring at the sky, asking if anything wanted to come and say hello, there was a giant flash in the sky. Bearing in mind this place, wind whistle, which for those in New Zealand, you might know where wind whistle is, but for those not in New Zealand, it is sort of like a 2-hour drive from like the closest anything realistically. So yeah, that was quite incredible for me. I then went and grabbed my sister Abigail and asked her if she wanted to come and see if we could see anything in the sky. And then over the course of the next sort of half an hour, 45 minutes, she saw a couple of flashes of her own that I didn't see. And then we also saw a few things that could be shooting stars. However, they didn't quite look right. Yeah, so then fast forward to November 19th. My partner Sam was taking me to Milford Sound for my birthday, which was going to be on the 20th, and we were going to be staying in Tiana, which is the closest township to Milford Sound. We got to our hotel room at probably 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to go show Sam these things in the sky that I've been seeing. I've been telling him about them, and I think he was curious, a little bit skeptical, but open-minded enough to not shut me down on it. So we went down to the lake after about an hour of nothing showing up in the sky, which, to be fair, it was overcast. Couldn't see a single star. I suddenly had this idea that if these things are real, which to me, by that point, they were, that they would not be just limited to in the sky. So I decided to ask if there was anything on the lake or in the native bush around the lake. And then as a result of that, things started appearing on the other side of the lake. These were like little orbs of light. And yeah, when the first one appeared, I thought, I wonder if I am actually crazy. And so I asked Sam if he could see them. It turns out that he could. And then after that, there's probably, I don't know, 20 to 30 of these flickering little orb things over the course of the next half an hour or so. Yeah, so they would flicker in response to me talking to them. I mean, obviously they're about 2 to 3 kilometers away, so I don't think they're actually hearing my words. I don't know, I guess they can pick up on your mindset or something. And they would also move backwards and forwards. So yeah, that was the first time I was able to show someone else something quite incredible. Well, with the exception of my sister, but that particular night I didn't see the things that she saw, and she didn't see the things that I saw. So who really knows? And then about 3 weekends ago, I took my flatmate out for a walk, found the spot where things were going to kick off, and then once we were there was about 30 or so different things in the sky. A lot of them look like satellites at first, and then I just asked them, if you are not a satellite, so not a human satellite, can you flash? And a good portion of them, as soon as you ask that, they will flash, or they will just completely blink out, and then they'll blink back in. As we were about to leave, we saw something that looked like a incredibly bright star, and so I did the same technique with that one there. So incredibly bright star, but moving, and asked it if it wanted to say hello, and also this thing flashed. So it probably started about 5 times brighter than like Venus looks in the sky, and then when it flashed, it was significantly brighter again. So yeah, that was the second time they're going to show people stuff. And for both of those experiences, for myself, it's pretty cool. But for the other people, it's also pretty cool. It's pretty mind-blowing and eye-opening to have a visual proof that the stories that we hear about that are discussed around conspiracy tables and the likes are actually out there and can be connected with and contacted with. Then on Christmas Eve, I was up here in Christchurch, and I went out with a mate of mine, Ben. We went for a walk down the beach. I told him that I was going to show him something, but didn't actually tell him exactly what it was that we would be seeing. I mean, firstly, I didn't know, but secondly, I thought I'd just leave it fully a surprise. He didn't know anything about the adventures I have been on. So yeah, we went for a walk down the beach, eventually found the spot that I felt that things would show up if I invited them to. And as we're sitting there chatting in the clouds, a orb shows up. This orb, to my recollection, was about the size that the moon looks like in the sky. It was glowing orangey, yellowy gold, and it would like flicker or flash in response to the conversation we were having. So we weren't actually directly talking to this orb. It was like it showed up as like a participant of the conversation that we were having. Kind of a bit strange. I get that, but that is how it seemed to me. And yeah, this one here, so like the ones in Te Anau, they stayed pretty much exactly where they started. Slight little movements, of course, being so far away, it might have been larger movements, but from where we were sitting, they looked relatively small. This one here down at the beach would have been, I guess, maybe a kilometer away up in the sky. This one here moved incredibly quickly and would go left and right and up and down and all over the place and whatnot. Yeah, and then as we left the beach, another orb showed up in the water. Well, should I say just above the water. This one here was significantly smaller than the one that we'd just seen in the sky, and it was a white orb. And this one here would just go left and right in movements. Each time it would move the exact same amount, and it moved in sort of like a wave kind of motion, kind of matching the environment that it was in, which was in the waves. Yeah, and then later on that same evening on Christmas Eve, got to another beach where my partner's parents live, and me and my partner Sam, we went for a walk down the beach, and another one of these same ocean orbs showed up, and we sat there looking at that one for sort of 20 to 30 minutes or so. And then we walked back to where we had parked the car, which was about 1 kilometer, and the orb followed us the entire way down the beach. Kind of similar to how if you pass a cat or a dog that is quite curious in the street, they'll follow you for quite a while. So yeah, this thing followed us back along. It would have been probably 3 or 4 kilometers out in the ocean. The way I could tell that is because if we were at sea level, we couldn't see it. We had to go up onto an embankment behind, and then we could see it. So it was dropping behind the horizon when we were standing at sea level. Yeah, anyway, so it followed us back down, and then when we got to where we'd parked the car, there were 3 people who were having their own Christmas Eve party. So they were drinking and having a good time. So 2 guys and a girl. And when we got there, the guys were like, "Can you guys see that light out there?" I was like, "Yeah, I can see that light out there." And they're like, "What is it?" I was like, "I'm not entirely certain, some kind of light orb or spirit orb or something." And they thought that was pretty cool. The lady, on the other hand, she couldn't see it, and she really wanted to see it. So I asked the orb if it would like to flash or do something that would make it obvious to her that, well, as to where it was. And the orb didn't do anything, but in response to that, a giant flash happened in the sky again, similar to the very first thing that I had seen. And the 2 guys were like, "Oh, did you see that one?" And she goes, "Yeah, I saw that one." So yeah, it seems that it's not just the people that I am with, who I'm showing it to, that can see them. If anyone else is in the vicinity, I guess they will be able to see them as well. It's kind of like they're, I don't know, eavesdropping on a visual conversation. And I would imagine for people who see them without knowing why they're showing up, it's probably quite out there, quite wild, but it is what it is. So yeah, this brings me now to why I'm leaving Queentown. So I feel that my path forward is showing these things to people, and staying in Queentown just does not allow that particular path that I'm on to move forward, or at very least it won't move forward in any kind of meaningful speed and whatnot. And so I have made the decision to leave Queenstown, finish up my life that I have had down there for the last 7 years. Yeah, which has been a little bit difficult, to say the least, because it's yeah, completely changed in the paradigm of my life that it has been for the last 8 years. But I am really excited about this next chapter in my journey, and being able to show anyone who really wants to see these things. So yeah, that's why I left Queenstown. So initially I am in Christchurch, or just out of Christchurch, at my parents', but the eventual plan is to do a bit of a tour around the South Island, allowing anyone who wants to see these things to see them, with exceptions and whatnot. I will go into that in a future video, and then eventually go around the world. My plan for the first place outside of New Zealand will be to go over to Arizona in the United States. I'll explain that in another video as to why that place seems like the right place to me. And the eventual idea is to build up some kind of community around this here. And I say that because when people have seen these things once, then they know that they exist, and so then they don't feel quite so stupid standing there going, "Hey, does anything want to come and say hello?" And so thus then more and more people will be able to pass this year on to more and more people. And I think that with where the world is at the moment, and with how disclosure appears to be going within the United States government, and then by proxy, our government, Australia government, Canada, Europe, and whatnot, all of those who align with the USA's style of doing things, if they have their way, they will spin it in whatever way they want to. I don't know exactly what the truth is. I don't think anyone really does. But I do know that people who have the ability to spin things, they'll spin it in whatever way they can. When you see these things yourself, like legitimate ones, you can tell straight away that it's non-threatening. It's something that has been here all along. We just haven't been aware of it. Whereas if you listen to some of the whistleblowers or the people coming out in the United States Congress, ex-CIA or other three-letter agency people, you'll see that they go, we don't really know what it is, but we think that it might be a threat. It might be a threat. It might be a threat. It's the through line that they're constantly using, that it might be a threat. So my idea is I'm going to show people that it's not a threat through connections, through a conscious connection between individuals and the phenomena, whatever the phenomena may be. So yeah, with that, I am keeping the connections within the consciousness of both my soulful self and within the selves of those who I come into contact with. So yeah, if anyone watching this stream would like to see these things, then put a message in the comments. I will be making some kind of form or whatnot that people can fill out. Obviously, it'll be dependent on where I am at any given point. So yeah, it requires a little bit of a synchronistic meetup, as it were. But yeah, in any case, if you do want to see these things, yeah, let me know in the comments and I'll see what I can do. But yeah, with that, I am going to sign off for the day because I have stuff that I need to get done, and I will talk to you all tomorrow, hopefully. Anyway, with that, catch you later. Bye. Oh, wait, where's the stream? Okay, bye again.